right, guys, that sounded like some great discussion, and I really appreciated your feedback. So what we as a curriculum team, as part of the administration, the three things we chose that we really need to focus on as an entire staff, that goes for the teachers, that goes for speech pathologists, anyone that's working with the kids, we need to be focused on these three aspects. We want to start aligning all our lesson plans to the alternative state standards. Right now, lesson plans can be about anything. They're usually revolving around the goal work that I mentioned previously, but we are a public school, part of Metro Nashville Public Schools, and we need our lessons to be based on the standards that all our kids are expected to learn. So the second thing we need to focus on is differentiation in the classroom. I know that with our population, our students, some might be verbal, some are nonverbal, some have control of their arm movements, some do not. So what we need to do is be able to teach our lessons to a wide variety of students. From the kid who can't talk to ones that are forming complete sentences. They need to be able to have access to the same material, and that kind of brings us to our third point. We need to make all the material that we teach accessible to our students. Now this is the most difficult thing that the curriculum team is facing. We've researched schools in Florida that are dealing with similar populations. There's a school in Boston that's very similar to our school. And there's schools in Texas that are similar. Now what's so hard about bringing information to our children? They have hearing impairments. They have vision impairments. They cannot use their hands frequently to signal yes or no or point to different answers. We need to be able to bring information to students with such a wide range of disabilities that it's difficult. How does a student make a choice when they can't speak? Do they use eye gaze? Do they use your hands? So basically the biggest problem is finding material that's accessible to all our students. So how do we do that? Let's look at a few examples. The team has decided to use life skills as an example. Many of our students, once they get to high school, are not really looking at a college education, but they do need skills to make their lives easier, to make their parents' lives easier, just really to help them survive in the world once they leave school. So they need to learn life skills. So here's an example of some of the examples that we might be using in the classroom. These are safety signs. Most of our students in high school are using them to help them navigate the world. As you can see, they're coloring signs and tracing the function. So signs that might be going in, you would color open or enter here. And this would help students that can't speak use maybe even an ink blotter to make a selection. And down here, simple matching exercise. How many of our kids' goal work revolves around matching? So many of our kids work on matching every day. So this will help them connect standards to their goals. Why don't they match something that is aligned with alternative state standards, right? Kill two birds with one stone. Second, let's look at some more examples. These are still life skills. Here's a kid being able to work on math, very, very basic level math, while also working on their fine motor skills. They're having to use a clothesline clip right here to make a selection. Now, if the kid can't grasp, maybe they're using the ink blotter, maybe they're pointing, maybe they're using eye gaze. But here it says, what's the next dollar up? We got 556. Next, the choices are 3, 6, 7. Using the close clip to select 6. Again, kills two birds with one stone, working on fine motor skills as well as a content area like math. Over here, we can see kind of examples how they would be stored, how they would be accessible. These are just in small plastic cases, and when you buy the curriculum, it comes with those. You label them, make them easy to find. They don't take up much space. They can fit in a small cabinet in your classroom or a bookshelf where kids can easily go get them themselves to work on. And the last example kind of shows you what we've been looking at. Here's a bundle that we could buy. What we saw before, all those little sheets that were in the cases, this is what we'd be looking at. This bundle has 86 items and is $220. So it's not cheap, you know. This would take a financial investment from the school. But here's some examples. Next dollar up, you can use that to match alternative standards in math. Which food group? That's a life skills. There's more money here, measuring cups, and stove oven temperatures. We got math and life skills in this bundle. You'll be able to attach that to so many different things. You can even use social studies in some of the money situations. But that's basically what we've been looking at. And this is kind of just a big picture of what we see when we go looking for curriculum. All right, so we're gonna break into those same small groups as before, and we're gonna discuss how these folders, how you would use them with specific students in your class. So maybe choose one student in your class and talk about how these folders would work. And to help you do that, I have 3 examples here that you can use. So each group, take one folder and talk over it and talk about how you would use it in specific examples. Sound good?